What's up, everybody? Josh Engleman here for Awesemo.com. The process is back. We're closing out the work week strong. So happy Friday, everybody. It is June 10th. Before we do anything, shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring this video. Awesemo is the promo code. Get a deposit match up to $100. You put $100 in, they will match with $100. We got the free PrizePicks player prop tool on Awesemo.com. It will help you out a ton, I promise. We have plenty of content for PrizePicks, whether that's written content on the site, videos on our YouTube channel. Take it all in. Make sure you're signing up. Couldn't be happier to have them as a sponsor. So thank you to PrizePicks. I'm going to talk a couple things today. One, quick recap of MLB results from yesterday. We're going to look through everything there. We're going to talk NBA contests for today, which is going to look very similar to what it did on Wednesday. And I also have updates for UFC contests for tomorrow, which I've already gotten into. So we'll take a look at that as well. But we'll start it off here. We got in the four-seamer yesterday and into a single entry contest. In the four-seamer, a couple of my fellow Awesemo.com compatriots, we got the Colts finished, put 13 out of 20 in the money, got all the way up to 6th last night. Got him a profit of $465 in this contest. So that's the biggest one we've seen in any contest that I've been in for one of my fellow colleagues. So big day for the Colts. Shanzan got back to neutral. He finished 69th. Nice. On 6-9, I might add. Really exciting stuff. Got straight back to zero. I ended up down $1. I got myself all the way to 107th, which is just outside of that top 1% range into the second spot. Adam, Alex, Eric, all behind there. Here was the big problem for me. 80% Garrett Cole with his crisp negative 8.75 fantasy points. That didn't go well. Worked a lot better for Adam. He only had 5%, but ultimately didn't cash into that either. You see DeColt's had about 45%, so Steve was neutral. That just didn't work out well for me. I had a ton of Ohtani as well. That went quite well. If I could have just turned Cole into Freed, I would imagine I have an absolutely exceptional night. Had some Pavetta. That was fine. If we want to talk about hitter exposures, let me go ahead and remove the pitcher here. And then we'll add this together by team. I don't know why that's not aggregating our exposures. It usually does. Is there a reason that's not happening? Let's take out FC projection. Can I just switch this to sum? Does that work? Value aggregation sum. It does work. Okay. Don't know why that's not doing that automatically, but we can just cycle through, get an idea of where everybody was from a stack perspective. I know where I was, but I have no idea what everybody else had. So the biggest chalk play yesterday in this contest ended up being the Orioles, which I don't know if we expected that, but they were the biggest chalk. Kansas City had the biggest ownership projection, but it looks like a lot of that got flipped. So I had a bunch of Baltimore. Alex clearly had a ton. Steve had a ton. Eric had a ton. So while they were with the chalk stack, they weren't wrong necessarily. It wasn't bad for Baltimore. They didn't end up being the best option. Probably, I'm guessing these guys would have had a little bit less if ownership came in a little bit differently. You can see then the next highest owned stack was Atlanta, then the Yankees and Cleveland. Basically, all three of those were the same. You get the Royals, and then it's a pretty steep drop off. Not a lot of people had Minnesota, except for Shanzan, who had quite a bit of the Minnesota side of this one. No surprises there. That should have helped out a little bit, but it did kind of calm down as we got later on into the games. Ultimately, you needed the Yankees. You probably needed some combination of Minnesota, Kansas City, and Cleveland, depending on which direction you wanted to go. Yankees, though, broke out late. Big points out of Joey Gallo, went for 30. But you got Hicks, Donaldson, and LeMahieu all 17 or higher. I had basically the field of the Yankees. We saw Steve get up to 240. That probably helped with the cashing lineups. He had two of the three biggest stacks were Steve's biggest stacks. He had 240 aggregate percent for the Yankees, 155 for the Royals. Now, I was massive on Kansas City, which worked out pretty well. I was massive on Cleveland too. So I had 3 of the 4, just not enough Yankees, too much Cleveland, too much Kansas City, but it ended up bringing me all the way back to neutral, so I can't complain too much. If we just want to look at top 1%, we start to see a lot of lineups from names we know. The Colts gets 3 lineups into the top 150. Into the top 1%. You cannot ask for anything better than that. Fantastic day for Steve in this contest. Royal Payne, a name you'll see it a lot at the top of contest, gets 2. Crafty Lefty, Mr. Tuttle, Giant Squid, a bunch of names that you would see a lot at the top of contest, all got 2 into the top 1%. So that's very interesting to see. Then we get down into just the individual 1 lineups. We see Brick getting 1 into the top 1%. We see Dean getting 1 into the top 1%. Do I recognize any other names here? Shanzon got 1 into the top 1%, which we knew that was able to get him back to neutral. Unfortunately, not for me. I'm in the top 2%. That's going to have to be good enough. If you look at just stack usage for the top 1% lineups, Yankees topping it off, 5-man stacks. That's what you needed. You probably needed to have Baltimore, Cleveland, Kansas City right behind it. One last thing. So ultimately, I showed you guys I was down $1. We weren't down for the day, though. In the base hit, ended up finishing 144th. Nothing special. It's a top 10% finish, but it is profitable. We did show an $18 profit. So profitable baseball day yesterday. This was the lineup in the single entry contest. 5-man Guardian stack. Garrett Cole. Otani. We had the Christian Bethancourt 26% one-off catcher game. We had the Bobby Witt 22 fantasy point one-off shortstop game. The stack worked except for Miles Straw, and I'll take the leadoff hitter any day of the week. To get 0 is kind of crazy. Great lineup. You turn Cole into Max Fried, and things might be a little bit different. But anyway, that's what baseball looked like. We'll aggregate all of the results through this weekend. So through the MMA stuff, we'll take a look at that on Monday so we can see how we did for the first week. But for now, we're going to take a look at contests to enter for today. And here's the deal, folks. The NBA contests are the same that they were on Wednesday. As you can see here, like excellent eights, 47x you're buying, 47x. Jab step, 46.8. Final shoot around, 45.1. It's all the same. They didn't make any changes to the payout structures here for the contest for Game 4. I'm a little surprised. I thought there would be some wiggle room, but there wasn't. So we know what we did on Wednesday. 4-point play, hot shot, high five, high five. That's what we're going to do again today. So I'm going to highlight this right now. These are going to be the contests that we're going to get into for tonight's NBA slate. Make sure you're coming to sweat that with myself and Laffy on playback tonight. We're also on live before lock, but $99 worth of contests. We're doing the exact same thing again because we don't have enough money in this little video series to max the excellent eights, to max the jab step, to max the final shoot around. And I certainly don't want to put a single bullet in there. I don't think that's all that great of a strategy. So I'm going to do the exact same thing we did before. I think this is the best combination of contests to get into to try to spend that $100. There aren't many other alternatives. I could drop both high fives, take the pick and roll, do $101. That would work too. I don't really see much of a difference here. I like the way that we had this set up, and it went so well on Wednesday. No reason to not immediately just run it back. So these are going to be the contests we're going to get in. Let's register for those things now. I have already registered for the UFC contest. That's why you see the balance at $154 because I already did part of the work. I wanted to make sure that I can get into those UFC contests. Should have put the video out earlier. Should have did the video yesterday. Still getting my sea legs underneath me here for this one. Let's go ahead and pop Klay Thompson into the captain spot. We'll take Jason Tatum. We'll take Marcus Smart. We'll take Al Horford. We'll take Gary Payton once again, who was the problem child for me. Maybe we won't take Gary Payton. Maybe we don't have to do that. Maybe we won't take Gary Payton. Maybe we'll take Derek White, and then 6,600, we'll take Kevon Looney. There we go. 4-2. We'll get the placeholder lineup in. We've got contenders videos already out. I'm on the strategy show. I'm on live before lock. You can't get enough of me today. when it comes to basketball. Actually, I don't know if I'm on live before lock. That might not be true. Yeah, I'm not on live before lock. So watch it anyway, though, folks. I promise you should do that. Alrighty. Entries in. We're going to go. Stop popping up contest type banner. All right. 19 more for the 4-point play. 1 for the high five. 1 for the high five. And where's that 3 max at? There we go. 3 for the hot shot. $95 plus the 4 we already put in takes us to $99. Now, we'll take a look at the MMA contest because we have not done that yet. This is going to be another one we're getting into. Big UFC pay-per-view coming up this week. Make sure you go check out the MMA strategy show on our YouTube channel. It's going to be Pete the Heat Rogers, Jason Floyd. They break down the entire card. They will be back for Live Before Lock on Saturday. Do not miss it. So here's what we've got for the UFC. Now, obviously, we're not getting into these crazy, gigantic contests. So I did check out everything here. We got it all on the screen. So let's make that bigger. Bang, got it. That's too big. There we go. That'll be perfect. The UFC 275 special is for sure the best contest you can get into if you can max it. It's going to cost you $3,750. That's $3,750. It's a lot. It's a lot of minutos. But it is the best contest out there. If you can get in the hook, which is basically like the MMA version of the Excellent Eights, $8 to get in, $150 max, $1,200 to max it out. Those two pay out the most, but that is going to be the hardest contest in the UFC. $8 buy-in, great payout structure, but your 150 lineups take 2% of the contest. You're going to get a lot of pros. Scary contest. You prove that you're good in that one. You're one of the best players in the world. As we work our way down, this is where we end up going, and I'll show you guys what I'm already in now. We'll highlight it, and then we could talk about it. These are the NBAs, but if we black that out by sport, close out the NBA, we're in the counter punch and the haymaker. This one's going to be very different than what we had been doing. So counter punch, third best contest we can get to. It's a $40 single entry contest, 583 entries, $20,000 prize pool. So 1 out of 583, it should be a relatively easy contest because you're not playing a lot of sharps. They pay 40 times the buy-in. So your average 1% lineup is 1,600 bones. Cannot beat this one. This counter punch for $40, great contest. Getting into the money is going to be imperative, but love this. Plus, because we went up in buy-in, reduced rake down to 14.2%. I can't explain to you guys how much I love this contest. It is fantastic. Only 146 entries in so far. So there are still 420 more spots available. I highly recommend if you have the $40 available and you don't normally do this, get yourself into the counter punch. Hell, sign up at Awesemo, get our projections, get yourself in there. But you only need to make one lineup. The other thing that we're going to do, we're going to hit the 20 max haymaker. $3 entry, so $60 to get in. That puts us on our $100 on the dot. This one, 39.6 times your buy-in for your average 1% entry. You're not competing with a lot of high-level sharks, just 0.08% of your entry, or you're covering 0.08% of the field. Both of these contests look fantastic. I would be fine getting into the armbar if we had $750. Honestly, I would be fine getting into the flying knee here. I think this $12 single entry, if that's a little bit more your speed, looks really good. It just so happened that the counter punch fit a little bit better, but I like some of these contests. The clinch is a $5 single entry contest. I think that pays out pretty well. The MMA contests look really good. I mean, think about it like this. We've got multiple quality, like almost 40 time your buy-in contest. That is what I want to get into. So I'm already in the counter punch. I'm already in the haymaker. We'll be playing 21 UFC lineups for this Saturday. I'm going to make sure that I'm taking a look at that live before lock show. I want to make sure I get as good of details as I can from Pete and from Jason. So UFC in the books. This is what we're going to have. We'll evaluate it all on Monday. Next week, I don't know if there's a UFC on Saturday, but we'll hit up UFC. We're absolutely hitting up the PGA. That's going to be on Tuesday. So make sure you're watching the process show Tuesday morning. We're going to hit probably baseball and then the US Open contest structure. It's going to be a bunch of them there. I really want you guys to be able to check that one out. Not too many more NBA slates. We're going to start broadening our horizons to other sports as well. Guys, this is it. That is the process for today. We're closing out the week. Don't think I'm going to have anything else for the weekend. Probably don't expect to play any baseball on Saturday. Maybe you'll see this on Sunday. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know what my weekend's going to look like. But for now, that's going to do it, folks. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Follow me on Twitter. You see it on the screen here at Josh Engleman. That's what you need, guys. Have a great weekend. Wish me luck. Good luck to you guys in the NBA and if you're joining me in the MMA streets.